When you think of games, some people love it and some people don't. You've got teams working on games and can even take a decade to release one. Have you ever wanted to see how these might just start from something small? Well, you're watching it, so roll the footage. At the time, I had decided to try and make my own games with Red Square. We had no clue on what to do, so what did we do? We looked for ideas to take inspiration from. Well, there's a game called Steep Steps where you climb a big mountain with a ladder that makes you want to explode! Okay, back to the game. We brainstormed until we landed upon a game idea about climbing a mountain with a grappling hook. How unique. Started making this game with no idea what we're doing. We had one thing in mind. Create something great. With all this drive and motivation, there was one slight problem. The coding. We don't exactly know how that works. Oh look, ChatGPT. That might help. So off we went, like maniacs, making everything we wanted and doing everything. Yeah, no. It wasn't the best thing. Bugs, impossible code, hours of prompting. And while that was happening over in Red Square Isle, I was happening. Building the models, assets, and other things to make the game look more lively. So, the months of development hell were over, and now it's release time. All we had to do was release the game and it would be fine. But what would we call it? Grapple Climb. What a fitting name for a game about you climbing a grappling hook with a mountain. Now, after all that, surely the game has maybe 20 visits or so. I don't know, probably won't get popped. Alright, you might be curious, what is a visit? Well, it's a term used to describe every time a player joins the game. At this time, it was about March 6th of 2024, and Grapple Climb hit a concurrent player count of 27, which doesn't sound like a lot, but honestly, for a game with no advertisements, was really good. Anyway, 10 days later, we hit 3,000 visits.
I kind of introduced you to Studio and we sort of started Grapple Climb. I just told the AI, hey, can you make me a grappling hook, right? Obviously we made the model, we eventually made the game, and it wasn't that bad. Making the map, I didn't do that much, but I helped a little bit.
When did you start getting a grasp on actually coding?
It probably took another year after Grapple Climb for me to start grasping it. We tried making a game similar to Grapple Climb called Luminous Heights. It was like a dark version of Grapple Climb. It was just you're completely in the dark and you had this little light you could turn on. I used some of my own code in that one. I actually started to properly do things on my own. I made a teleportation system on my own and change based on what checkpoints you have and don't have unlocked. Yeah, stuff like that.
Stockpile. Yeah, so this is known as development hell because the game started out normally, ideas and everything fun coming to mind, but the game was focused around a killer in town, but you are actually the killer, shown in a cutscene later. You corner two people at the end of the game, but you only killed one of them, and then you're basically just, told that you're a psychopath for the next 10 minutes by some voice in your head. So, yeah, that happened. Anyway, while all of this planning stuff is going on, I had nothing to do because we did not think this through. For starters, we decided to modify the starting map. The engine gives you slightly, so I can't build a map. Secondly, there weren't many items I needed to make, but the only thing I really needed to make were the core concepts and animations. By the way, Grapple Climb actually hit 1 million visits, which is kind of crazy. Dragobby! Dragobby is basically a regular obstacle course with a slight twist involved. You move the platforms to get to the end. We started out with a test map to see if our idea worked, and well, it did. So we started creating stages, the graphics, the coding, everything other needed for the game to be put together and function like a game. Over this time period, what felt like a month or two of development turned out to be over 6 months of development, which it could have been far less for procrastination. We released the game and funded it with some of the Grapple Climb gold, and the game ended up getting around 20,000 visits overall, which isn't terrible, but it could have been honestly better. Moral of the story? Let's make this